Hello everyone, welcome to a new video of the Indicator Store. Today I want to explain one of the very important features of NinjaTrader. When you add an indicator, many of you have seen the input parameter present on all the indicators that says it reads input series, okay, like this one. Okay? What is input series and how can you use it? No, let me start with the simple moving average. We all know what is a simple moving average. Let's say we place 5, okay, and let's make a big line visible from everywhere. So this is the simple moving average of the last 5 what? 5 bars, but a bar has a high, an open, a close, a low. So maybe you never paid attention, but all the indicators are doing something with the input series. And the input series, if you click, you have the option to choose close, high. Okay, the default is close. That means that this level, this current level of the SMA, is the average of the last 5 closes. This is one close, another close, another. The closes of a green bar is up here. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 closes. So you add all those 5 values, divide the result by 5, and this is the result. Okay? But as you can imagine, we can change this to the last highs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we only need to check the input series and change this to high. Okay? And now we have the simple moving average of the last 5 highs. In the same way, we can do the same with the lows. Okay, so we can select, right click and copy, and select clicking anywhere, right click and paste. So now we have two simple moving average, and change the other. Yes, change the second to look at the lows, not the highs. Okay, lows. And you can see that there are several options. We have the median is the average of the bar, the typical, the weighted. Okay. And now what we have is a channel, and it is the simple moving average of the last 5 highs and the last 5 lows. Okay, we can increase the period, of course, to 50, for example. Okay, now we get a channel. But this is not the only that we can do, because we can continue and continue adding more nesting, because I don't know if you have seen that when we click on the input series, we can also select an indicator, not just a part of a bar. Example, let's say that we have the volume. No? So we add the volume. At the bottom. So this is the volume. And now I want to know the simple moving average, or whatever you prefer. No? You can calculate the HMA of the volume, or whatever, or the linear regression. But let's do something simple. Let's add a simple moving average, an SMA, also with a thick line, maybe with a different color. maybe red, but where the input series now is not part of a bar, is instead one indicator, any of the indicators that we have installed. Okay, so for example, the volume. Okay, and now the average of the volume is not on the scale of the price, it is on the scale of the volume. So we need to place it on the panel number 2. Okay, and now you have an average, no any average, the average that you want. You want the simple moving average, the exponential moving average, whatever. You can also do the Donchian channel or the maximum, for example. If you want to draw which is the maximum of the last 5 bars, you can use the indicator max of the last, I don't know, 10 bars. Okay, on the price, it is just showing the maximum of the close, like this. This is showing the maximum of the closes, not the highs. If you want to make it work like a Donchian, you need to show the maximum of the highs, like this. Okay, but you can also show the maximum of the volume. Okay, but now again we are on a different scale, so we need to draw over the panel number 2, apply, and there we have the maximum of the volume of the last n bars. N in this case is 10. We can make it more visible. Okay, and you can nest one indicator under another. For example, this is the simple moving average of an indicator. For example, let me try with this one. This is the maximum. We can do the maximum of the simple moving average of the volume example. In fact, we can do a copy and paste. I can copy, paste, and now we can work with this line. And now I want this to be not the maximum of the volume. I want it to be the maximum of the average of the volume. How can I do that? This is the maximum of the last 10 bars, not of the volume. Of the simple moving average, SMA, and which period is this red line? We can see it here. It is the SMA 50. Okay, so SMA 50, and again we nest again with the volume. Okay, okay, and now again on okay, and now this is the maximum of the last 10 bars. Let me place it here. So now we can see what it is doing. It is the maximum of the red line on the last 10 bars. Okay. Or I can take an average of this, so it is not so going up and down. I can smooth this by adding the simple moving average or any moving average of the maximum of any n number of lines. As you can see, you have multiple options, and one very interesting is, let me remove all of this. As we can see, the maximum is just showing. The maximum is an indicator present on NinjaTrader, and it is very useful because with it you can do a lot of stuff. For example, detecting the maximum of the price. You have also the minimum, okay? The maximum on the last 10 bars of the close. This is the close. But what if I place 1? Which is the maximum on the last 1 bar, on the current bar, of whatever I place here? It is just whatever I place here. So this is just showing the input series, like this. It is showing the close. It is joining the closes with a line. As you can see, we have lines joining all the closes. Maybe it is easier to, it looks nice if instead of using a line, we select a dot. Okay, so now we have a dot showing the current close, or maybe the current low. We can change this to low. Okay, so now we have a dot at the lows. Okay, you can say, why using this? Let me hide this for a moment. Okay, and let's remove all those drawings. Now, let's say that we have an indicator like this with signals. So now my question is, can I get something from these signals? Can I copy those signals from an indicator? If those are plots, and we know that this is a plot because on most indicators we can see that on the section plots we have triangle ups and triangle downs, but this is not always present. Sometimes some indicators have it hidden, so you don't know. You don't know if it is a plot or not. Also, you can press the middle button, but again, some indicators can also hide that info. Now, how can I know if this is a plot? Because the reason is, if this is a plot, I can automate it from NinjaScript, from Builder, from markers. So I need that the signal is a plot. And now we can use this, okay? Because now I can look at the at the maximum of the current bar of the indicator. For example, in this case, it is the TIS ATR trend. So now I can click on input series and search for that indicator, TIS ATR trend. It has a lot of parameters. I need to place the same parameters that are showing in the display. I guess those are the settings. We can try. And the indicator has several plots. I am interested in the blue triangle, signal up. Okay, apply. Now we get something like this. Okay, we can see that there is no match. So maybe the parameters are different. Let's take a look. The indicator is using 14, 0.5, 051. Okay, and this 14, 0.5. How much was the other? Sorry, 051. This is different. 051. So same parameters. And now we can see that the plot is aligned. The long plots. Okay. So I can place this overlapping this. Yes and no. Because as you can see, we have zeros where there is no signal. What happens if I place this over the price panel. Now the dots are placed, but also the zeros are painted. But that should not be a problem because one of the parameters of all indicators is the auto scale. If we don't click the auto scale, then the maximum is showing zeros but not visible, and they are at the bottom. And as we can see, here we have a dot. Okay? That means this is a plot. This can be copied from markers, from Builder, from NinjaScript. And with the same rule, we can do the same for the shorts. So I can select that dot, right click and copy, and paste it again. And now we can change the settings. This is the maximum of the indicator with the plot signal up. The second maximum is the same indicator with the signal down. Okay? I can change the color if I want. Let's say gold. Okay. And now we can see that we have the maximum of the signals overlapped with the indicator. Okay? So now you have an easy way to detect if an indicator signal can be automated or not by markers, Builder, NinjaScript, whatever. Okay, hope this has been useful. If you have any question or comment, don't forget that we have a chat room on Discord. The access is free and the instructions are on the description of this video. Thank you everyone. Bye bye.